Okay, so today we're really diving into Google's core web vitals.
Yeah.
And we're lucky enough to have this awesome recent blog post by Now Technology Systems.
Great guys.
Yeah, those Aussie web gurus.
Yeah.
They're really on top of it.
Mm.
But, we hear all this buzz about core web vitals, but
Yeah.
what are they really? Like, why should I as a business owner even care?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Your website is like your shop front, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Google's gone beyond just looking at the sign above the door.
Okay.
Now they're timing how quickly your door opens for customers.
Oh, wow.
How easy it is to move around inside.
Right.
And even if the displays are like constantly moving around while people are trying to shop.
Oh, gosh. I've totally been on those websites where
Yeah.
things just jump around.
Yeah.
Infuriating. The worst.
It's like, come on.
So basically Google's saying,
Yeah.
get it together.
Or else.
Or we're sending your customer somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these core web vitals are Google's way of making sure your site is user-friendly.
Yeah. It's all about the user.
And in a tough market like Australia, that could make or break you.
Absolutely.
So we're not just trying to make Google happy here.
Right.
We're trying to keep those Aussie customers happy.
100%.
But, okay, let's break down what these vitals actually are.
Yeah. Let's demystify.
Because I got to admit, some of it sounds like tech jargon to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've got three main metrics here.
Okay.
First up, largest contentful paint.
Largest contentful paint.
Or LCP for short.
LCP, got it.
This basically measures how quickly the most important content on your page loads.
You know that moment when you land on a site and you can finally tell what the page is about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of just staring at a blank screen like, hello, is anything going to happen?
Exactly. That aha moment. Ideally, that should happen within 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds? That's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time to make a first impression.
And what if it takes longer?
You risk losing your visitor's attention.
Oh, no pressure.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else is Google judging us on?
Next, we have first input delay,
Okay.
or FID.
FID?
This one's all about responsiveness.
Okay.
Imagine clicking a button or trying to fill out a form,
Right.
and the website just lags.
The worst.
The worst, right? So FID measures that delay
Okay.
between you doing something on the site and the website actually responding.
So it's like that awkward silence.
Yes.
When you ask someone a question and they just stare at you blankly.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Awkward.
And often this delay is all about how a website uses JavaScript.
JavaScript.
Yeah, if you think of JavaScript as the language websites use to make things interactive,
Okay.
too much of it or poorly written code can really slow things down.
So it's like someone who uses way too many words
Yes.
to get their point across.
Exactly.
Just get to the point.
And then the third vital
Okay.
is cumulative layout shift,
Cumulative layout shift.
or CLS.
CLS. Okay.
You know when you're about to click on something and suddenly the whole page shifts
Oh my gosh, yes.
and you end up clicking on something else entirely?
This happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Drives me crazy.
And Google hates it too. CLS measures those unexpected layout shifts,
Okay.
which are super frustrating for users.
They are.
A stable, predictable layout is crucial
I agree.
for a good user experience.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
those are your core web vitals.
we've got Google playing website judge and jury with these core web vitals.
Uh,
But how do we actually improve our scores?
right.
Like, is it just refreshing the page a bunch of times?
No. Definitely not.
Okay,
Thankfully, now Technology Systems
Yeah.
give us some solid advice in their blog post.
good.
And they seem to really get that Aussie businesses are busy.
Yeah, we are.
So they've kept their tips really practical and to the point.
I like it. I'm all about actionable advice.
Good.
So spill the beans. What kind of optimization secrets are we talking about? Well, they go beyond just like your typical optimize your images advice,
Okay.
which, don't get me wrong, that's still crucial.
Sure.
But they actually dig into like the nitty-gritty of JavaScript and CSS,
Okay.
which can really drag your site down
Right.
if they're not optimized.
Like cleaning out the cobwebs in your website's attic.
Exactly.
You don't realize how much that stuff's slowing you down until it's gone.
Exactly. And for websites that are image heavy,
Right.
they suggest this really cool technique called lazy loading.
Lazy loading.
Yeah, basically it means that images only load when the user scrolls to where they would appear on the page.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
So you're not loading the whole website at once.
Like,
It's just what people need to see.
Yeah, it does wonders for your LCP and CLS.
That's awesome. It's like only baking cookies when your guests arrive,
I like that.
instead of having a whole batch going stale.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And speaking of working smarter,
Okay.
They also recommend utilizing something called a content delivery network.
Content Delivery Network.
Content delivery network.
Or CDN.
CDN. Okay, I'm going to need a little more on that one.
Okay.
What is it, and how does it help my website run like a kangaroo on roller skates?
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
Imagine you've got all your products stocked in multiple warehouses
Okay.
across Australia instead of just one central location
Okay.
with the CDN. That's essentially what you're doing for your website's content.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So instead of every customer driving across the country to get to my one store,
Yeah,
they can go to one that's closer to them.
that makes sense.
This means faster loading times for everyone,
Okay.
especially those visitors who are geographically far away from your main server.
Right.
It ensures a smooth experience no matter where your audience is located.
That's fantastic. I'm starting to see why these core web vitals are so important.
Yeah.
It's not just about, some technical tweaks here and there.
Right.
It's about creating a truly enjoyable experience
Yeah.
for every single visitor.
Exactly.
It's funny how a bad website experience can really stick with you.
Tell me about it.
It's like that time I was trying to buy concert tickets.
Oh, no. Don't tell me you were stuck refreshing the page while they sold out.
Sadly, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, no.
So yeah, slow loading times, they can cost businesses real money.
Absolutely.
And in a competitive market like Australia? Yeah.
A clunky website could be the difference between making a sale and losing a customer forever,
Big time.
which is not what we want.
Yeah.
Now, Technology Systems really emphasizes this point. They're saying that these core web vitals aren't just some passing trend.
Yeah.
They're crucial for long-term success.
Absolutely.
So we need to be proactive, not reactive.
Yes.
It's not enough to just meet the bare minimum anymore.
Nope.
User expectations are only going to get higher.
For sure.
If your website feels slow today,
Yeah.
imagine how it'll feel in a year or two.
Oh, I know.
When even faster experiences become the norm.
Exactly.
It's like trying to win a race in a horse and buggy
Right.
when everyone else has a sports car.
Exactly. Got to keep up.
So we've talked about these core web vitals.
But are they really just the tip of the iceberg?
That's a great question.
What else should we be thinking about
Right.
as we try to create the best website and online presence possible?
Well, I think while we've covered a lot of the technical stuff,
Yeah,
the human element is just as crucial.
that's true.
How do we make websites more engaging,
All right.
more intuitive, more human?
More human.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
So we've explored the what of Core Web Vitals and the how,
Right.
but the why behind it all, creating that exceptional user experience,
Yeah.
that's what will really set businesses apart.
100%.
I think that's a good place to leave it for today.
Yeah.
We've given our listeners a lot to think about.
A lot to digest. Remember, folks, staying ahead of the curve in the digital world means constantly learning and adapting.
Absolutely.
And if you need a hand, you know where to find us. And those brilliant minds over at Now Technology Systems.
Great team over there.
Until next time, happy optimizing, everyone.
See you next time.
Okay, so we've talked about these core web vitals.
Yeah.
We know Google's using them to judge our websites.
Right.
But how do we actually improve our scores?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. Is it just refreshing the page a bunch of times?
Unfortunately not, no.
Darn.
But the good news is, Now Technology Systems gives us some really solid advice in their blog post.
Okay, good.
And, they seem to get that Aussie businesses are busy.
Yeah, we are.
So they've kept their tips really practical.
I love it.
Easy to understand.
Actionable advice.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
So
Slay it on me.
what have they got?
What kind of optimization secrets have they shared?
Well, they go beyond the usual optimize your images
Yeah.
advice,
Okay.
which, don't get me wrong, is still super important.
Of course. Yeah.
But they dig a little deeper.
Okay.
They get into the nitty-gritty of JavaScript and CSS.
Okay.
Because, believe it or not, that stuff can really drag your site down if it's not optimized.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Huh. Interesting.
Like cleaning out the cobwebs in your website's attic.
There you go. You get it.
You don't realize how much that stuff is slowing you down until it's gone.
Exactly.
Right.
And for websites that are really image heavy,
Okay.
they suggest this really cool technique called lazy loading.
Lazy loading?
What's that?
So basically it means images on your site.
Yeah.
They only load when the user scrolls to where they would appear on the page.
Oh, that's smart.
Right.
So you're not loading the entire website all at once.
Exactly.
Just what the user needs to see right then and there.
It does wonders for your LCP and your CLS.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. It's like only baking cookies when your guests arrive,
Okay, I like that.
instead of having them sitting there getting stale.
Exactly. Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And speaking of working smarter,
Yes.
they also recommend something called a content delivery network.
Yes.
Content delivery network.
Or CDN.
Ooh,
Sure.
CDN. Okay, I'm going to need a little more on that one.
Sure.
What is that, and how does it help my website, be as fast as a kangaroo?
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
You've got all of your products
Yeah.
stocked in multiple warehouses
Okay.
across Australia
Mm-hmm.
instead of just one central location.
Right. Okay.
That's essentially what a CDN does for your website's content.
Oh, so it's like,
It's like having a shop
yeah,
in every major city.
instead of forcing everyone to come to my one store.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So it means faster loading times for everyone,
Okay.
no matter where they are in Australia.
Wow. So I'm starting to see why these core web vitals are so important.
Yeah.
It's not just about, like I said before, some technical tweaks here and there.
Right.
It's about creating this, really enjoyable experience
Absolutely.
for every single visitor to your site,
That's what it's all about.
no matter where they are or what they're trying to do.
100%.
And it's funny how a bad website experience
Oh, tell me about it.
can really stick with you.
Ugh.
Like, I remember this one time I was trying to buy concert tickets online,
Oh, no.
and
Let me guess, the website crashed.
it was
Oh, no.
it was so slow,
Uh,
and I kept getting error messages.
the worst.
And by the time I finally got through, the tickets were sold out.
No, that's brutal.
I was so frustrated.
I bet.
And you know what? I still remember that experience to this day.
I will blame you.
And I'm less likely to go back to that website because of it.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
That's why this stuff matters.
It really does.
It's not just about, making your website look pretty.
Right.
It's about making sure it actually works.
Exactly. And that it works well
Exactly.
for everyone.
Yes.
So I guess what we're learning here is that slow loading times can actually cost businesses money,
Big time.
especially in a competitive market like Australia,
Absolutely.
where there are tons of other businesses
Right.
vying for the same customers.
You got to stand out.
Exactly.
And you're not going to stand out with a slow website.
No, you're not.
That's for sure.
So we really need to make sure our websites are up to par.
100%.
And now technology systems, I think they really hit the nail on the head
They do.
when they said that these core web vitals,
Yeah.
they're not just a passing fad.
No.
This is not just some trend.
It's not going
This is the future of the web.
This is it. This is the new standard.
So we need to be proactive.
Yes.
We can't just sit back and wait for things to happen.
Be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. Because if your website feels slow today, just imagine how it's going to feel in a year or two
Oh, I know.
when everything else has gotten even faster.
Exactly. You're going to be left in the dust.
Exactly.
Like trying to race a horse and buggy against a Ferrari.
Exactly. You can't compete with that.
You can't.
So we've talked about these core web vitals,
Yeah.
but are they really just the tip of the iceberg?
That's a great question.
What else is there?
What else is there?
What else should we be thinking about as we try to create
Right.
the best possible online presence?
I think we've covered some really important technical stuff here.
Okay.
But we can't forget about the human element.
That's true.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're creating websites for people.
Right.
So we need to make sure that they're engaging,
Okay.
that they're intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
and that they feel human.
Human. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So we need to think about how our websites make people feel,
Exactly.
not just how fast they load.
Right. It's about the whole experience.
A whole experience.
That's what's going to keep people coming back for more.
I think that's a great point to end on for this part of our deep dive.
Okay, great.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have
and I think our listeners have a lot to think about.
lots to digest.
So until next time, happy optimizing, everyone.
See you next time.
It's funny how a bad website experience can really stick with you.
Oh, tell me about it.
Like, I remember this one time I was trying to buy concert tickets online,
Mm-hmm.
and the website was just so slow.
Ugh, the worst.
I kept getting all these error messages,
Oh, no.
and by the time I finally got through,
Yeah.
the tickets were sold out.
Oh, that's brutal.
I was so frustrated. And you know what?
What's that?
I still remember that experience to this day,
Wow.
and it makes me less likely to ever go back to that website.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So yeah, slow loading times, they can actually cause businesses money,
Absolutely.
especially in a competitive market like Australia,
Sure.
where there are tons of other businesses out there
Yeah.
all vying for those same customers.
You got to stand out.
Exactly. And you're not going to stand out with a slow, clunky website.
Nope.
So Now, technology systems, I think they make a really good point in their post.
Okay.
They said that these core web vitals,
Yeah.
they're not just some passing fad.
Right.
This isn't just some trend.
This is the new normal.
This is the future of the web.
Exactly.
So we need to be proactive.
100%.
We can't just sit back and wait for things to happen.
Right.
And hope for the best.
Be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly, because if your website feels slow today,
Yeah.
imagine how it's going to feel in a year or two.
Oh, gosh, I know.
When everything else has gotten even faster.
Right. You'll be left in the dust.
Exactly. It'll be like trying to race a horse and buggy against a Ferrari.
You can't compete with that.
You can't compete.
No way.
So we've talked a lot about these core web vitals.
We have.
But are they really just the tip of the iceberg?
That's a great question.
What else is there?
Yeah, what else is there to think about?
What else should we be thinking about
Right.
as we try to create the best possible online presence?
We've covered a lot of the technical stuff here.
We have.
Which is really important. But I think we have to remember the human element.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're building these websites for people.
Right. Real people.
Right. So we need to make sure they're engaging, intuitive to use, and that they feel human.
They have to feel human.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep people coming back for more.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's not just about the technical stuff.
Yeah.
It's about the feeling people get
The feeling.
when they visit your website.
Exactly. The whole experience.
The whole experience.
That's what matters.
Well, folks, I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive today.
Sounds good to me.
We've covered a ton of information
A lot of good stuff.
about Google's core web vitals
Absolutely.
and why they matter for Aussie businesses.
So important.
But remember, this is an ongoing conversation.
Always.
The digital world is constantly evolving,
It never stops.
so we need to evolve with it.
Stay curious.
Exactly. So keep learning,
Keep experimenting.
and most importantly,
Yeah.
keep your websites fast.
Fast and human.
Fast and human. I like that.
That's the key.
All right, everyone, until next time, happy optimizing.
See you later.